Today I want to highlight something that's become more and more prevalent every single year since I've been in real estate investing. Now I've been doing this for 7 years, and at first, when I first got into the real estate investing business, being able to use squatters' rights was some kind of like miracle law that helped the person who was just smart and knew how to read books. Today, it seems like almost a way to steal people's property legally. So today I wanted to highlight and show you what happened to this homeowner in New York who was arrested at her own house.
I don't know the law. Yeah, there's laws. You shouldn't be trying to steal my house. Yes, you are.
How about that? A squatter standoff. A property owner confronts a group of people she says moved into her $1 million home in Queens, and our cameras were rolling as dozens of officers showed up.
Several people were taken away in handcuffs, and one of those arrested may surprise you.
Investigative reporter Dan Krauth joins us now with more on what happened. Tell us, Dan.
Well, this is a very big growing problem. I received dozens of tips from viewers about this in just the past week. I went to do what I thought was going to be a routine interview. Instead, we capture what police and property owners are dealing with on a daily basis.
Now, the first thing I noticed, about this property is that there is no lights, okay? Now, different states have different, squatter rights. See, in North Carolina, I don't know if we're a blue state or a red state, look that up for yourself, but I believe that in red states, it's harder to do this in blue states, it's easier to do this in. You guys fact check me. See, in North Carolina, in order for a squatter, someone who doesn't live there, they're not a tenant there, they don't have an active lease, okay, and they're not also on the deed of the property, so they're not an owner. In order for them to have some kind of right as a squatter, they have to maintain or improve the property. Notice the lights aren't on, so that's not maintaining. That's the first thing I see.
To understand how this day ended,
We need the police right away.
with multiple 911 calls and arrests, we have to start at the beginning.
Adele, the hardest question is, how do you say your name?
We met Adele Andaloro outside the home her parents left her in Flushing, Queens. She's in the process of selling it,
No, he locked it.
but she's been locked out. She claims squatters moved in on February 6th and refused to leave.
What's it like being here knowing you can't go inside of your own home?
It's enraging. It really is.
In New York, squatters have rights after 30 days.
By the time that someone does their investigation and they do their work and their job, we'll be well over the 30 days, and this man will have stolen my home. And now she's back.
Just after wrapping up our interview, a woman showed up.
What are you doing in the house? Are you renting this house? Why are you here?
She unlocked the front door, saw our cameras, and took off.
It's open. Let's go in the house. It's open.
Adele and her daughter, with the property deed in hand, went inside.
This is my furniture. These are my curtains.
She didn't just find her belongings inside.
There's a man sleeping right there. Get out of my house.
She found 2 men.
How long have you lived here?
I moved in about 2 days ago.
They've called the police on me, and I've called the locksmith. I didn't come in illegally.
Okay, so right there, the guy just confessed that he's only been there for 2 days. Okay, now, when you guys get into real estate investing, you got to know these kind of laws so that way you can actually do what you need to do. When, if you'll listen back to the video, it said that, they become tenants after 30 days. So at that point, she has to do a traditional, eviction. So that means she has to serve notice. And in certain states, there are certain time frames. But here in North Carolina, when we go to serve notice, we have to give a 30-day notice. And he said he's only been there for 2 days. So technically, she should be able to call the police, okay, and walk these people out of her house.
Legally, the door was open.
Police started interviewing neighbors and looking for documents.
Do you have something that shows that you've been here for more than 30 days?
They took the man who told me he had been renting for 2 days out in handcuffs
They got one out.
and escorted the other guy
All right, so they got one out that admitted, okay, that he was only there for 2 days. Okay, that's cool.
off the property.
Now you're afraid to come out.
I'm not coming out. This house is empty. This is my home. My locksmith is on the corner waiting to change my locks. And it's not fair. It's not fair that I, as the homeowner, should be having to go through this.
How you doing?
Minutes later, a locksmith showed up, but police gave her a warning before they left.
I may end up in handcuffs today if this man shows up here and says that I have illegally evicted him. I said to them, let him take me to court the way I've been told to take him to court. But today, I'm not leaving my house.
Less than 10 minutes after police left and the locks were changed. The man who claims to be the one actually leasing the house shows up.
Call the police again.
With the other guy, police took off the property.
Do you see this? This guy just literally broke down my door. Broke through myself and my daughter to get in here. This guy just forced himself into my house. Yes, he did. And so did you. You broke through the front door.
The man called the police on her.
So why is it that I have to leave and he doesn't have to leave?
Because technically he can't be kicked out. We need to go to court.
They consider this a landlord-tenant issue. And by law, it has to be handled through the housing court, not with police.
If you own this house, you would not want her inside.
I don't own this.
Exactly,
Yes.
she does.
Yes, but then once again, you should know how the law works.
I do know how it works.
There's rules to the as you got to go to court and send me to civil court.
He says he signed a lease in October, but wouldn't tell us with who.
I got proof longer than that.
Show us the proof.
But who are you for me to show? I showed it to cops.
Dan with Channel 7 News. If you don't want to show it, you don't want to show it.
Come here, but I like that.
I would like to see it.
He didn't show me a lease.
This is a bill.
A bill for work he says he had done to the house. He didn't show police a lease either.
The police department doesn't have the lease? No. He's got no documentation.
All right, so that's interesting. So he wasn't able to show a lease, but he showed a bill for work he had done to the house. So that's like a clear like squatter sign. Okay, so in North Carolina, you know, one thing that you can do to show that you're improving and maintaining the home is you can show receipts for work that you have done. And if you're really like a professional squatter, then you'll take these receipts and you'll take them down to the magistrate's office and you'll pay to have these receipts as judgments on the property. So that way you'll have like a date time stamped of when you did this particular work. And so now the funny thing is about this, in a lot of cases, we know that receipts can just be typed up, printed out, and signed by anyone.
So Adele, you're getting arrested right now?
Being arrested.
For what?
For being in my own home.
And where's your lease?
She's fighting the house. It's not her house anymore.
My deed is current and legal.
Arrested for unlawful eviction. She changed the locks on a man who claims he lives there.
So how does this all end then? When do you leave?
The way it ends is either she pays me my money that I put into the house, pay me the money, and I'll leave, or send me to court, and we deal with the judge in court. It's that simple.
It's not that simple. It's a long process. Evictions can take close to 2 years to complete.
Wow, that's crazy. So at the end of the day, you know, this squatter's goal is either A, for this magical receipt that he made up and signed himself, whatever that number was, they didn't disclose how much was on that receipt, for her to pay him to move out of her house, okay, or B, she take him to court and pay attorney's fees and court fees, and like the news reporter said, take, you know, 2 years to get out of her own house. You know, at the end of the day, that's what he's hoping for, is a free place to stay for a couple years. Now, I want to know, like, you know, is this right? You know, should people be able to just move into a random house? I mean, let's say you go on vacation. You're going for, you know, God bless you to be able to go on a vacation for 2 weeks. Somebody notices that nobody's home. They go in there. They break into your house. You know, they start sleeping on your bed, your furniture, your floors, right? Not paying for any power or water or anything. And then when you come home, you find them there. Is that right? You know, like, and what do we do, you know, as citizens in these different states, in New York and California, Florida, where these things is happening? What do we do as citizens to prevent this from happening, not just to us, but to others? Like, you guys let me know your comments on this, okay? But until then, remember, you don't need all three, time, money, and knowledge to do the real estate business. You just need to do you. Peace, y'all.